Hello, my freedom walkers, and it is evening time right now. Today, I want to talk about how shine in my mind equaled shame, how shine or shining equaled danger in my life.
Loving me unconditionally.
Hello, freedom walkers, and welcome to Loving Me Unconditionally. Today, I want to talk about how shine or shining led to me feeling danger, how shining equaled shame in my life. So today, I'm going to talk about two experiences I had with the church and family. One of them was, everyone knows by now that I'm a gay black man, openly proud to be. But back then, nope. But I was a minister. I was a minister for some years. And I remember that I was pretty good at it. You know, the country black man doing all of the, yeah, you know, all of that. You know, I was like good with the rhythm and the flow of that style of preaching. So anyway, I remember instances or times whenever I had a really good response from people who said their lives were changed or they were touched or it helped them or it healed them in some form or fashion. And then you turn right around and like, dang, okay, awesome, cool. You know, and it made you feel good that your talents or your gifts or the time you put in actually helped somebody's life. But in private or in other settings, or sometimes even openly in front of everybody, you're humiliated. I remember being humiliated and saying, oh, um, you're not all that. Um, the way you moved around, you need to make sure you have a robe on, because not ass, but your butt was moving, or just constant, all these little things. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Or you didn't say this word right, or you didn't, and it was not done in a way of constructive criticism. It was done in a malicious type way to make you feel bad, to down you. It was not like constructive. It was things to make you feel like that you're not holy enough, you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that. We know the difference. You know the difference. And so me getting up after those times, and first of all, I didn't feel like I was better than anybody. I actually felt worse in other areas. I didn't feel like I was a good enough black man. Man, there were so many things going on in my life and in my world of how I didn't feel good about myself, or how I didn't feel like I was enough, how I wished that I could just end my life, but I was fear of going to hell. You name it. All these things were happening. And how I didn't feel good enough about myself because I could teach and preach healing to other people, and they receive healing and financial blessings and wholeness and all these things, but I couldn't do it for myself. So I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel like I was enough in those areas in my life. And I apologize for the plane going by. I'm not gonna stop it. I'm gonna keep rolling, baby boy. So I felt bad already about who I was. And I was like, man, I found something that I'm good at, that I'm gifted at. And then you turn right around and then people project their insecurities directly on me. And I didn't know that. I just held my head down. When I would get up to speak, I was just nervous, and I was just like it was like walking on eggshells. Like, oh my gosh, I better say this right. I better do this right. I better not move this way. I better not talk this way. I better not. And I was no longer me. I was just being what other people felt I should be, over and 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 over again. And it made me feel like that I would never get right. I would never be enough. That even when I put my best foot forward, I I would never ever get it right. And I realized that my body throughout my life has, and my nervous system through my life has responded to this. So anytime I would get up, so it would be very, this is key. It'd be very hard, and I'm still working on it. It would be very hard for me to accept accolades, or saying that, or even people saying you look good, you're handsome, or you did a good job, or call me out in front of people. That happened a lot as a teacher. Whenever they would call me out in front of people, like, oh, miss, he did this or he did that. And I would get nervous. I'm like stuck in my tracks, nervous, sweating, like, please, please, please don't call me out. Please, please, please don't call me out. And it wasn't for negative things. It was for accolades. It was for rewards. Even I got teacher of the year, man. That really, 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 I'm happy, but it sucked for me in the moment. Because I was like, oh my gosh, here I go. I'm shining again. I really just want to be quiet. I really, really, really don't want people to recognize me for doing a good job. And that impacted the way I thought throughout my life. I know there's several church instances. You grew up like holiness, Pentecostal, and black community in the South, Baptist. I grew up in a lot of different areas. But there's a lot of harshness, like there's a lot of love, but there's a lot of like chastisement. I guess that's a good word. Just chastisement and talking down on you in front of everybody. A lot of that. And I also remember one more incident when I would do praise and worship, and people would be blessed, or lives would be changed, healed, you name it, deliverance, whatever. And I would get home, and I would never say I would just say family, right? I'm not here to dog anybody out or put anybody on blast, but I would have family member or members who would say, oh, you ain't all that, think you all that, And they were like, even when I would sing around the house, they would pick apart, like, oh, listen to that, or start laughing at me or making me feel bad. And I had associates too that was in the church that did the same thing. And so when I would get up and do praise and worship, I first of all, it made me, when I would go to church, I remember my countenance would change. On Saturday, I would go through like a reckless ball of nerves. I couldn't even enjoy Saturdays because I knew Sunday was coming. And when Saturday night was like hell for me. It was like horror getting ready for the next day in church. Like, what am I going to do wrong today? I got to walk on eggshells. I got to be like this. I got to talk like this. I got to walk like this. I got to act like this. And it was constantly just like, okay, how can I do this? How can I please people? How can I do the right thing and not be put on blast or saying, oh, you fucked up, right? So I remember like just on Sunday mornings actually slipping into like the sadness or depression on the way to church. Even when I got out the vehicle and would go inside the church, I didn't even know automatically my head was held down. Going into the church. And it caused a lot of issues in my life, especially whenever I did praise and worship and stuff, and you would come home to what you thought was a warm, and I never told anybody, a warm environment, and then certain family members would say, oh, you thought you was all that. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And of course now I realize, although I took it all in, although I dimmed my light, I realized that whoever that person or individuals were, they projected their insecurities or their jealousy upon me. They were working out their own insecurities and their own personal shit about how they felt about themselves on me and blamed me. So the only outlet that they had was to make me feel bad about me. I'm still working through this, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I am still working through this. I have some even through this channel, even through some business opportunities, where when I start growing in a business, I would stop at a certain level, at the level of the breakthrough point where I know it'll be successful and it's gonna just launch off, and it could be like this multi-million-dollar venture. I stop and I just put it on the shelf. I am in this place right now in my life. That's why I'm doing this series, because this is healing for me as well. I am proclaiming and I am pushing through this thing and saying that me shining is no longer associated with shame. Me shining, I'm telling my body, my nervous system, my subconscious mind that it does not have to protect me anymore. That this level of my life now, I know, and I'm talking to my body, my cells, my nervous system, my subconscious. I know in the past that when I shined, that things went awry and I was hurt in the process. And I know that my body wants to associate shining with shame or with danger or with hurt, but I'm releasing that in my life today, and telling my body and my mind that you no longer have to worry about that area in my life anymore. That I'm walking in love. I'm walking in being my true authentic self. I am walking and shining and don't give a fuck about what the world says. I'm associating shining now with doors of opportunity. I'm associating the shining now with love, with the expression of love from my heart and from my soul. And if you find yourself in this place in your life, just take this journey with me. I'm overcoming so many things in my life until it's just overwhelmingly blissful and joyful. And I'm loving this journey. And I'm telling you, if people try to dim your light in your life, it's because you had something to shine about. And no longer can they dim it, can they hold you down, can they stifle every blessing, everything, every success, every door, every opportunity of joy and fulfillment that's coming your way. It is yours. This is J Love and loving me unconditionally. Like, subscribe. Let's take this beautiful journey together. And you know what? One more thing. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Let's not dim our lights anymore, and let's shine together, baby. You have a great day. Bye-bye.
Loving me unconditionally. Loving me unconditionally. Through the fire, through the storm, I found the truth inside of me. Loving me unconditionally. Loving me unconditionally. No more shame, no more fear. I'm exactly who I'm meant to be.